So here's a quick update. Um, so went for it is basically 3.5 miles. It's not quite 3.5 miles, but it's pretty close to 3.5 miles. And again, I also do like at least a mile warm up every single before, like it takes me a hour or a half mile to get there and a half mile to get back. So, it's not necessarily part of it, but kind of. But so today I felt pretty decent, and I ran pretty all right. I'm just slow. Like obviously I've only been running for like 2 years, and um, and I guess like, maybe I don't really know how it works, but I guess it would work that way because I used to be able to run like a 6 minute mile, but barely, like barely be able to do a 6 minute mile, and I'm talking like high school and I'm, into college, like my early 20s. Um, and so now it's just, I can't run very fast, but I can run really far. And I don't know if that's because it's the particular type of training that I'm doing, because I do like absolutely zero like quick work. I haven't, because I haven't. To me, it's like the end goal is if I can get there or not necessarily how fast I can get there. But anyway, I felt good today running, and sometimes I would also have to say that because I mix my running in with lifting, it really is hard. And since I don't really care, I mean, because I haven't been to a race, I don't know how fast I can run. Or I've never like pushed myself like considerable, like, to really, really see, how fast I can go. So I'm eating a little off. I mean, this is, honestly, I'm pretty much done with the pacing. Right now it's just like, you know, it's all about, I only got 2 days more of running until I have like a full break. I'm going to go a little over today because I am excited about where I'm at right now. And why I'm excited, you want me to tell you why I'm excited, please? Is that, see, when you get so uncomfortable and I run so far and my legs start to cramp and I have like such bad like issues, like, I really become I become very uncomfortable. So like resting becomes harder than right now. Like I've noticed that I can sit still for most of the day. I can sit still for like a few hours on end, really, and not feel like anxious or like uncomfortable or needing to move around. Now, when I was running really far, and that was also the case before I really started getting into the pain zone. And then when I got into the pain zone, I couldn't sleep very well. I just couldn't sit very well. I couldn't, just everything was horrible. I mean, you just could not get comfortable. I couldn't nap. I couldn't watch a movie. I couldn't do anything without getting up 100 times. So I guess, I guess what I'm talking about here is that, a lot of what it is staying in, finding your different zones, and you can define them yourself. But my like I said the other day, is that like I got like a threshold where I cannot go any further. I got a threshold where I can't go any faster. But I got a threshold where I can, where I need water and where I need food. Where it used to be I would need like a ton of water just for a mile, and I would need a lot, people, if people weren't making fun of me, they probably should have. That like I was all about like training, like to me, like getting going was like training like an elite athlete. I was watching like the top of the line, but I did that like because, if you go into it and you just like, it's also because it's just how I used to be. I used to eat before I would play, and like some people do and some people don't. But I would eat like a lot. I would carb load for like a mile, and people thought that was crazy. But the truth is that like is that you kind of have to overeat, or you have to eat, and you have to be kind of where you want to be at the beginning. Like so there's this guy. He was talking about how carb loading and stuff, or not carb loading. He's talking about overeating, like being bulking, and why some people are fat and bulk. Well, I can simply answer that one because, like, I understand where he's coming from, and that's the whole thing. Is that a lot of times you just have to understand where people are coming from, really, to not get upset with them. And like you're gonna lift more weight and see more results, and when you are taking in more, when you're overloading your calories, when you're trying to bulk. Okay, it's like why they call it bulking, but at the same time you are gonna get fat. But if you're like one goal is to get stronger, then you gotta eat. But if you're trying to like cut weight, like do all these different things, like you really gotta like juggle everything because you are trying to put a lot of calories out and I'm switching back to running, is that you're putting a lot of calories out. Your body really needs them, but it doesn't need you're not going to run very far on excess fat. But like if you go and you burn all the calories you have, it's nice to have a little bit of fat on you, to get home to finish the race, if you're understanding what I'm saying. And so the big part about overeating or, eating, carb loading and doing all this stuff is that don't feel stupid, is that like most likely you're doing, eating more is probably going to be better for you at first. Because you're probably still going to be maybe still burning more than you're taking in, and you should be. If you're starting out, I am 100% an advocate of like gaining weight, eating more calories than you normally do. Because if you're going for a certain distance, and then you make that distance, and then you like are able to like do it in a certain time that you kind of are comfortable with, then you can start messing with your diet, and then you can count the calories, and then you're doing what you want to do, and you're not suffering through it, and like you and then like you'll like digress from there, and you can start losing the weight by like eating the correct stuff later on. Don't worry about it. That was what I was saying, is that like if you like are trying to like go to the gym and change your diet, like going to the gym and working out is mental and physical. So like changing your diet like to go do that stuff, I mean, to me is stupid, because I didn't even do it, and I have willpower out the ass. Like, I mean, I have a ton of willpower, and it just doesn't work very well because you're just not used to it, and it's sort of like if you go to McDonald's, or okay, so if you drink a Coke, or like they say go to McDonald's, but I don't really have that problem. But maybe this is like, but I do have a problem. Like if I haven't drinking a Coke in a while, like it's just overwhelming. It's just too much, and that's like kind of like if you're going super healthy, or going from a normal diet to like trying to go vegan, you're gonna have a very hard time, like just changing over, So I guess like part of why I'm talking about it is because I am starting to get back to the point where I'm going to start cutting again, or I'm going to go into a deficit. And going into a deficit is like it can be as bad as eating all the calories I want and progressing, overloading my training, because you become hungry, and then instead of being uncomfortable muscular wise or tired wise sitting there, you're just starving or like hungry all the time, and it pays off very quickly. I mean, it very quickly depends on your willpower, but it really, like I'll say it again, it's about 6 weeks. But 6 weeks of being in a deficit constantly. Just ask anybody that is a professional, anything, like how hard that really is, like how uncomfortable and how, I mean, you're usually hungry. I mean, you're not starving, like your stomach isn't growling. And if you're getting to the point that your stomach is growling, well, I would say that that's bad. But if you're really trying to cut weight, it's a good thing. Now, I am going to say is that a lot of times you're going to hear, God, I'm going to overtalk, but it's okay because that wasn't my goal for today. Maybe it was, but I forgot. But you, if your main thing is like you're trying to, lose healthy weight and a maintainable diet, okay? You'll hear this all the time, like, you can't go on a crash diet. Well, most of the time, those crash diets is people going to the point where their stomach is literally churning and growling for food. And it's much different than like being hungry. Like, and it's different because like when you're hungry, it could just be that you're used to eating. It could be partly mental and you're okay. But once your stomach starts growling, it's your body like starving at that point. Like you're needing food. And if you're not good at coming off of it and understand the different levels of it, it can be like one of those things where you just come back and you gain more weight than you lost. But if you have like an understanding of what you're doing, then you're going to dip into that twice a day, basically. You're going to, once a day. So you're going to basically like get your body, and they call it like intermittent fasting. I just call, like not eating for a long period of time, because fasting to me is like, days on end, could be weeks. And so what I'm going to say is that I need to go back into my longer periods of without food to trim down again. Because with running, the less weight, the better. And I have weight. I see it all over my body where, I could very easily lose weight and not even feel like, I don't have to like look like a super skinny runner. Now, I'm not like bulky and big by any means, but I'm just also not like super thin by any means either. So like, I guess where I'm at, I haven't said that already, is that I'm realizing how comfortable I am now. Like just being around, like just sitting down, and how like much more enjoyable life has become just like literally in the past couple of days. And just how running is, and like my feelings towards working out and going to the gym and being around people and going for a run in the morning and waking up and eating. I have done a very good job of kind of curbing the calorie intake that I'm having, but I'm also trying to keep my calories. I'm trying to be in a surplus calories. I'm trying to bulk, if that's what you want to call it. I'm trying to carb load, is more for running, but I'm trying to do that all the way through till the end, because I wanted to get out everything that I possibly can. I want to have as many nutrients in my body, as much possibility for my muscles to grow without just being kind of like sick and having what I call the protein shits. God, I've been talking just disgusting lately. But that is the whole point of making sure that what you're doing is that you plan it out. Because if you like start hearing one guy say something, you'll take it differently in a different day. Like if you're tired, you might take it in the wrong way. And then on the other hand, if you're like all up about it, then you think you know better. And then it's always lies somewhere in between. And that's a good analogy. And that's why having a plan sometimes is a good idea, because then you're not like hearing, oh, well, you should be in a deficit. And then like all of a sudden you're going in a deficit, and it screws up your entire plan from the very beginning, which, trust me, I am guilty of 100%. So I'm going to just say, what am I going to end this on? All I wanted to say was I was comfortable. I wanted to talk about my diet. My running is fine. My working out is getting back into it. I'm sore. I really think that was it. I really do. I don't think there's much else, really. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. The reason why I'm thinking is because, yesterday I had nothing to talk about, and I kind of was tired. And today I just realized how comfortable I was, and I realized how much less I was eating. And I'm just saying the same thing over, but like I also have been hearing how other people are talking about what you need to do, and personal trainers and like people, influencers and like all these people, they all say these different things, but it's because it's like, mostly it's their perspective. And so if you're really going to like, I don't even really know how to say it, because it's really just like, it takes time, and I don't really think I had anything else really to say. I mean, I did have other things to say, is that there's a lot of stuff pissing me off right now. That was it. There's a lot of stuff pissing me off right now in my life. And so like, but I'm trying to like keep like a level head and get through the week, and not like get too like pulled like when things go wrong. And like that's like another thing you got to really consider is, like I've said a bunch of times, is all the other stuff that's going on in your life. Like I was trying to buy a car, and I was trying to plan for a trip, and I was planning for food, and I was I have like this water filter. Oh, that was it. That was what I was going to go. Okay, so like I probably said this before, is that like my number one thing about the current state of the world is having my water filter in my fridge. And I know that sounds absolutely insane, but because that's basically the only thing that I drink, and I love it to death, and my little water filter, like the water comes out at the right temperature, and it tastes the right way, and it's all filtered, and it's beautiful, is that now that I can use it, it's like driving me absolutely crazy. It's like, and that was the last thing that I was really going to share, is that like, but I didn't get too upset, and I kind of calmed down, and I'm going to try to see if I can get through this, and if I can fix it the proper way without breaking it, because I'm so pissed off. So anyway, just make sure, I don't even know how to end this really, but really, I guess like make sure that like, you kind of realize the different zones that you're trying to go in. And really, like if your goals are to run, you gotta like realize that everything I'm saying isn't 100% gonna work, because I go to the gym and I lift and I get bigger. I try to get a little bit bigger. I don't even try to get big. I try to get strong. But in retrospect, getting bigger usually, or getting stronger usually means getting bigger. But I'm also trying to lose weight because I had too much weight on. So I got all these different things, and I've had it like nailed down, and it just works for me because I just have always liked healthy food. And I have always, I've always liked exercise. So it's just different for me. And I've always had a strong willpower, and I've just always been able to like, just know what's going, like just to be able to like, I don't really know, I guess I can say just keep with it long enough to like sort of be able to track what's happening, like what foods are making me feel good, and you know what exercises are working, you know, that type of stuff. And that's really important. And I guess these upcoming videos are going to be like probably way shorter because I'm going to have less to be talking about, because it's like most of it is just going to be repetitive, because this next zone that I'm going to be in is like, well, I'm going to be resting. But then after I get done resting, I'm going to be back into like my full, you know, wheelhouse of bullshit. And so, man, I'm cussing. Maybe I shouldn't cuss. But so I'm going to be back into like, you know, doing normal activities, lifting, running, doing everything, and then eating, and everything will change. So it's just going to be, it'll be different. And hopefully I feel better. I mean, I don't know. See, I'm just struggling. I need to remake this video.